An advisor to Jeremy Corbyn has suggested there could be a conspiracy between security services and the deep state to block the election of a Labour government after the aide was banned from entering Ukraine. Mr. Watson said the comments would simply be fake news if Mr. Murray fails to prove his claims. Speaking on BBC Radio 4's Today programme, Mr. Watson said, "I think it is highly unlikely, but I don't know where his evidence is for that. He should provide evidence because otherwise it is just fake news." Mr. Watson called on the aide to prove his claims, adding, "I genuinely don't know why he has reached that conclusion. Presumably, he has got more knowledge of that than me." The Deputy Labour Party leader insisted it would be helpful to come up with evidence. He said, "I don't know what the facts of the issue are, but if he thinks that the intelligence services are in some way trying to undermine the official opposition, then he should provide evidence because otherwise it is just fake news, isn't it?" Mr. Watson added, "If Andrew Murray has more evidence, then he should provide it." Labour Party division as Tom Watson demands proof from Andrew Murray's comments. Image, Getty Sky News. The Labour leader had a fiery shadow cabinet clash with Mr. Watson ahead of the party's conference in Liverpool next week, after the deputy was denied a top speaking slot in a provocative snub. The row began when Mr. Corbyn opened a shadow cabinet meeting by stating, "I hope everyone is happy with their speeches at conference." Mr. Watson, who has been denied a high-profile speaking slot, fired back, "I'm not." The Labour leader suggested Mr. Watson speak to Amy Jackson, his political secretary. But Mr. Watson later told Sky News that he has given up his slot to allow a Labour MEP time to speak. He said, "When it comes to the speech, what we are doing this year, our General Secretary is bringing forward rule changes to our internal party structures. That's going to take about a day of our conference to discuss, and a number of my colleagues were squeezed out a speech, including the leader of the European Parliamentary Labour Party, Richard Corbyn. I've actually foregone my speech so that he can address the conference, and I think that's really important." In response, Sky host Niall Patterson blasted, "You understand why the suggestion is that there is tension between you and the leader's office. It's because there is tension between you and the leader's office." Mr. Watson replied, "That is what you are saying, Niall, but I know the leader's office and I can tell you there's very little tension other than the usual day-to-day stuff. The reason I have given up my speech is that I think the conference needs to debate Europe." Labour Party division. Corbyn aide said there is a deep state plot to stop Labour government. Image, Getty. It emerged at the weekend that Andrew Murray, Chief of Staff to Unite Union leader Len McCluskey, has been banned from entering Ukraine for 3 years by the country's security services. Mr. Murray questioned why the reports of the ban, imposed in June, came out in the press at the weekend and implied his suspension could have been the work of the UK security services colluding with Ukraine. He said in the New Statesman, "Someone else is doing the hard work, possibly someone paid by the taxpayer. I doubt if their job description is preventing the election of a Corbyn government, but who knows. We are often told that the days of secret state political chicanery are long past, and we must hope so, but sometimes you have to wonder." The curiously timed episode seems less rooted in a Kiev security scare than in a political stunt closer to home.